you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
Welcome back to Common Folk.
That was pretty good.
That was good. You've been working on your radio voice.
Once in a while, I'll listen. I'll be like, oh, he could have had a little more energy.
Driving around, practicing. It's like in the shower doing it.
Actually,
Yeah.
I saw him in the mirror the other day. He didn't know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was like,
That's a good way to do it.
I'm kidding.
You know?
I'm totally kidding.
You're told to do that type of stuff, you know.
You probably have done that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I at a real young age, I caught my dad doing that before he was umpiring a baseball game.
Oh.
And he was going, Steve Reich, you know, and really, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, well, you know, you want to sound professional, you want to sound good, you got to practice that stuff. And that was long before any like voice coaching crap or any of that stuff came out, you know. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I always kind of was around it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. So that's normal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't practice anything in the mirror, so.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I mean, you might. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's saying he doesn't know. I don't know.
Okay. Well, are you drinking, Andy?
Sort of. Twisted tea.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally a
Oh, you
drink.
get some
I just
tea.
was wondering because
You know.
normally you crack
Yeah.
something. So I didn't know if it was because you had to go pick your kids up from school after this or if you.
Well, this has become acceptable now. I mean,
right.
not too long ago, I used to make fun of a guy that would go on our fishing trip with us, and we'd all, up at Canada, would be drinking Labatt Blue.
What?
Labatt
What is
Blue.
that?
What? It's like the
You know what that is?
most popular
What?
Canadian beer,
Oh.
like mainstream beer, like a light beer.
Maybe if I saw it, I would know.
Lager.
Okay.
So we'd be all drinking that and Molson Ice, you know, Canadian beers. It was part of the deal of going up there, right?
Uh-huh.
And he would always bring these twisted teas, and we're like, what are you doing?
This one loves those too.
So, well, now different outlets have turned to Twisted Tea and has picked them up as sponsors. So it's like acceptable now. Guys can drink Twisted Tea.
Oh, before it was kind of like a White Claw.
Yeah, I would say so. That's how we treated it.
Right, because I think of it as kind of like a guy thing, like it's hard.
Yeah,
you know, like
Twisted Tea.
they should say hard twisted tea or
Right.
something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Throw a word in there like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
Then
yeah.
White Claw came along and made all the other stuff cooler.
So cool.
Totally.
Well, there is a man, I saw the ad for it. It was just funnier than heck, for seltzers. And it comes in a regular like beer can, and it's called like Guy Seltzer or something like that.
Oh God.
Like, jeez, kind of over the top, but okay. All
Right.
right, whatever.
Right.
I'd never drink those.
New, and we know you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Forget
No.
about it.
Never, ever.
What is that
Millie,
noise?
it's the dog.
Oh, hey, she's trying to dig a little bed over there.
I mean, it's just the rug, the same old rug every week.
She's the co-star, you know. She's
I know she's never
ingrained.
really been on camera, but everyone always seems to like hear her.
Someday when we get the YouTube stuff,
She
knock it off, Mel.
she knocks out like, what would you say, 2 or 3 or 4 of the senses, you know, because
Yeah,
we've
right.
definitely smelled her
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
pod too.
for sure,
Yeah.
So
for sure.
she's been able to make her appearance a couple different ways.
Agree.
So did
Yeah.
you guys do anything fun over the weekend? Watch any movies? Catch any games?
I did watch yesterday in preparation for this particular podcast the new Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
Oh.
let's not act like you watched the whole damn thing.
Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I mean, are we getting all weird
Andy,
with
he'll
me about
watch
it?
a movie and be sleeping in 10 minutes.
Oh, he's crossed that bridge.
That's
That's where
he's
he's
like
at now.
in the old category.
That's where Ashley's at too. Like,
that literally will play into what I think you want to talk about today. But
Oh,
I mean, it was there. I'm like, okay, well, it's the new Ninja Turtles. I was a Ninja Turtle guy. You know, when I was younger, I totally dug it. I was all about it. And I didn't really have any interest in watching this new one because it's animated. It's kind of a different kind of animation.
yeah.
But then you were talking about this for today, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll check it out.
Well, and there's a lot of stars in it too. Like there's a lot of big names, big name voices in it. So that's what I kind of wanted to check out first and foremost with
Yeah.
it was, okay, you're messing with my turtles, right?
yeah.
But it sounds like you're making a pretty good effort to do it right with Seth Rogen, I think Ice Cube's in there.
Really?
There's a whole bunch of Jackie Chan's Master Splinter.
Jackie Chan, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't look at the cast beforehand, but as I was hearing the people speak, I was picking it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard Splinter talking, I was like, that's totally Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan movies, so I'm like, that's great.
So
Yeah.
maybe you did stay up longer than 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, I was in bed like an hour before you, so
Ask Ben what I was doing.
Watching Ninja Turtles?
No.
I don't know what she was doing. I was in the room with
You
the door
do
closed.
know what I was
watching
doing.
Ninja
I was
Turtles.
helping Joel study.
Okay. So you guys were both like doing important things then.
Very,
very
yeah.
important,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure, for
yeah.
sure.
All right. Yeah. Well, we watched, and I was catching guff from everybody. I hadn't watched the new Top Gun yet, Maverick.
yeah.
And you have watched that.
Oh, yeah.
We
couple times.
have
Mhm.
a couple.
I thought they did a fantastic job. You know, I thought they checked all the boxes,
I liked it. You
like
know.
everything you could ask for. And a lot of times, fair or unfair, whatever, when I see a remake, especially when it's years down the road, I'm very sus. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, is this really going to work out? Like, this
Yeah.
seems like you're reaching. But not surprised. Like, Tom Cruise dug it, like, bit into it, you know, really dug his heels in. And I mean, he might wear heels anyway, but that's another story. But like, he took it serious. And
That was good. That
and
was
he,
a real good one, Andy.
And I'm giving him credit here. I'm sorry for the backhanded compliment, but
I thought it was a good time.
you can tell Tom Cruise really cared about it, and
For sure.
And same with Val Kilmer, because that dude was basically on his deathbed, I think, at the time of that filming.
Was it real? Like the way he wasn't acting? Is he really in that condition?
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he is.
shoot.
He is in a very bad way.
I did not know
Very,
that.
Very bad.
Oh.
I mean, he's got, I think, like multiple cancers. That's why he barely talked in the movie,
Right.
because he could
Okay,
barely
I thought that
really
was some
talk
good
anyway.
acting, but that was not.
It was. I mean, him acting like he wasn't in more pain than what he probably
Okay,
was.
right, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think, and that shows you something else, that film meant so much to those guys that they weren't going to allow
Right.
a remake to tarnish it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, they built on it, I thought. So,
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. It was like the previews and everything were exciting, you know, and it was like, oh man, can't wait to see this. And then it wasn't supposed to hit like during COVID, and then they pulled it.
yeah, they're like, nope, we're going to release it when everyone can go to it.
You started seeing all the movies coming out to, you know, immediately to streaming, and they decided they weren't going to do that,
Yeah.
that it was going to hit the big screen first, I think. So then they waited till after that and then sent it to theaters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then- but we didn't watch it in theater.
I
We
think
watched
I
it at
remember
home,
saying we were going to watch it in theaters just to get that whole, and we never did. Yeah. But what I want to know is why the girl wasn't in it. I feel like I read something that she said she was too old and not like that cute anymore.
I don't know.
You know, that they put a different, I'm not making that up. Like she just said, you know, everyone ages and like she was overweight and
She's like, yeah,
she's like,
I wouldn't be
like
doing
I
that,
wouldn't
right?
fit that.
She said that?
I'm almost positive.
Well, Weinstein
Ben, pull
wasn't around
something up.
anymore, so he didn't say that.
What was her name?
So, I mean, you're talking about the original
Yeah,
movie?
the original movie. Hello.
The
yeah.
instructor
Yes.
that he had the fling with, and
Right.
then they end up getting
and
back
then
together.
now
Yeah.
she's like, I mean, Tom Cruise is still Tom Cruise
Tom Cruise is different, though. Like,
because he's a man or what?
no, like he takes really, really good care of his body. Like, he's really old, and he still looks like
Really
that.
old? He is not really old.
Yeah, he is.
Andy, he's like 50 something.
I don't know how old he is. I can look it up. I'm trying to find your ladies here. The on the second one, that was this Jennifer Connelly. I don't know, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the first one, of course, we all know who she is. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't know why I can't think of her name.
I
right
know.
now.
I can't either. But anyways, it's just
I mean, she's iconic, right?
I'm just curious. Maybe, yeah, whatever. So I'll just throw that one in there.
Well, and I thought that also kind of paid tribute to Maverick, the character. Like, man, he was
Yeah.
always moving around. He was an Air Force guy or whatever, or Navy guy.
Yeah.
So, like, good-looking guy, very charismatic. So he's probably
Uh-huh.
going to have more than one partner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Like sleeping partner.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I mean,
he's like
he's a fly boy.
not gonna be with one
Okay, he's-
fling for the
he's-
rest.
He's 61.
Okay, that's to me that is not old.
Yeah, it's not too old, but
I mean, hello,
what he was doing in
The
that movie.
Bachelor tonight,
yeah,
The Golden Bachelor. Have you not heard of this?
no.
Oh, I've heard of it from like 5 different stations.
Is this you and Ben's thing?
No, it's The Bachelor on TV.
Yeah, I got it.
It's called The Golden Bachelor. They have a
Okay.
72-year-old man.
Ooh.
And the women tonight are ages from 60 to 75.
60 to 75.
So
I
like
thought you were
all
gonna-
of these single women and men are like having these parties like teenagers used to when they had just The Bachelor. Now it's a bunch of golden.
All right, enjoying your golden years.
Anyways,
All
so
right.
to me, I don't even know if I think that's old.
Yeah.
I think old is like 80s now.
Okay.
All right, this is just a quick Google search, and I don't know.
Kelly.
I don't follow these people that much, but I mentioned this name earlier.
Yes.
Kelly
There it is.
McGillis,
I'm old and I'm fat.
and I look
age appropriate.
I mean, I
Show
guess
Andy.
that was her.
So
I don't
she
know.
called her own self out. That's not what she used to look like.
Okay.
That
All
doesn't.
right.
So
I mean,
she's
I don't
like,
recognize that. I don't think.
I don't recognize that either.
I shouldn't be in this movie.
Yeah, and that's for a lot of people. Like, you might have grown up with Tom Cruise, but you don't want to be a 61-year-old stand next to Tom Cruise now.
Yeah,
You know.
agree.
He
Okay.
looks like he's 42.
Yeah, he
you know?
does. He looks young. Yeah,
Yeah. Whatever.
yeah. Anyways, did you guys notice how I just pulled these out of the closet? Why do we even have Ninja Turtles in the closet, Andy?
Well, so we record our sports betting podcast here,
Yeah.
and we always, we kind of redo everything, and we put out football helmets and old trophies and stuff like that, just to kind of set the mood.
Oh, these are your sponsors.
Well, those are Sport Ninja Turtles from the original 1990s. So that's basketball, Donatello,
Okay.
baseball, Raphael.
I got it.
And those are just toys we had, my brother and I, when we were
We
growing up.
have some at home.
So,
We should dig these up. Maybe you
Yeah.
guys could have a whole sports team.
yeah.
Okay.
No, and I remember when I showed that one to Ben, you were looking at it, and I could see the nostalgia in your eyes. You're like,
For
I think
sure.
I got
Yeah.
this one.
I do.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't think we have the ball anymore.
Yeah, his arm is like spring loaded,
Mm-hmm.
and
It
you would
is?
shoot like it came with a hoop, I think.
Yes.
And you would like shoot it.
Oh my God, you totally knew that you could do that. You
Yeah,
just
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
flung the ball.
So to get to it, what were you thinking for today, Andy? Like there was a couple things you were texting us about, and some videos to watch and that
Well,
kind of stuff. So
Yeah, we were kicking around ideas, and this interesting topic came up. And it was this video on YouTube, and it was just the question: is it nostalgia? Is that what we're craving, or is it something else?
Okay.
And so I thought, all right, fine, you got me. I'll go down this rabbit hole. And it was I just found it very interesting, and it was from this kind of a B-rated philosopher, I'd say, called The Thinking Ape is the name of his channel. But he claims it's not nostalgia that we're after here, that we're craving. And we're talking about Top Gun, Ninja Turtles, whatever, Care Bears.
Yes.
What we're really trying to do in many cases is what he calls escapism. And,
Okay.
and you can also tie that in with what a lot of people are giving Gen Z such a bad time about. All these kids tuning into their video games or getting on their phones and, just staying on that for hours on end. You could call that a form of escapism. And, if you really go down that rabbit hole, is it all that bad?
No, probably not. I don't know. Like escapism from your normal day.
So that what I was referring to earlier. So when Morgan says, he only watches movies for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like that's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like I sit down.
What do you mean? That's what it is.
I'm trying to get there.
Okay. What?
I sit down. I turn a movie on
I told you it was spicy today, Andy.
that could be like essentially mindless. Like it's not like
Sure.
we're watching a documentary or anything.
Right.
It's most likely a movie that I've seen 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And you just watch it. Like it's not like it necessarily does anything for you, but it's comforting. You've seen it.
Yeah.
You enjoy watching it, and you just fall asleep. You just you're essentially in that moment, like you're escaping from everything else that's going on,
Yeah.
and it puts you to sleep. Isn't that kind of similar?
Right. Yeah. It's kind of putting your mind at ease and allowing you to just, pass out, basically.
Because your
Right.
mind races all day and you just like kind of unwind. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Do you think that alters your dreams?
I don't know about that, but
Just thinking about it.
I don't dream about the movies that I was watching.
You don't?
Not normally.
Okay. Well,
But the point is that, you know, I also think that so first of all, the whole idea about this podcast, number one, we've talked about a lot of nostalgic stuff over the last couple of years.
Sure. On many different levels, too.
Right.
yeah.
You know, like when I see my dad's old shotgun, that takes me back to the first time we went hunting. You know, things like that.
Yep. And there's certain like feelings that come along with that. And that's the whole point of nostalgia.
Right.
I think. I mean, to me, at least the way that I understand
and
the
it takes
definition.
a long time, right, to build that up.
Yeah.
Like it can't be something
Yeah.
that just happened 5, even 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's memories, there's history, there's meaning, there's whatever that comes along with it. So like so then to go back to some of those movies, it's just like the Ninja Turtles as an example. I could pull up, I don't know, one of the old original Ninja Turtle movies from when we were, I don't know how old we would have been, 12 years
Right.
old,
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
in that range.
Yep.
And watch that, and you just kind of get this level of comfort that you can't really explain it.
Right.
It just you just settle in and and you watch and that's that.
So, you know, now that we get to thinking about it and we kind of reflect like we do with this, I remember a couple years ago, Ninja Turtles 2 came out on Amazon or whatever, Secret of the Ooze. And so like, we turned it on. I was force feeding it to Ozzy. Right. And man, all those quotes, I could remember them, you know, and it took me back to this memory of like when I was in 4th grade of this conversation that me and my buddies had in front of school when the bell rang and we all got in line. Like that's
my
how
gosh.
sharp it was. It took me back right to that conversation. You know, because somebody said something odd and we all kind of laughed at it and then we joked about it for the rest of the like it was memorable. But
Right.
man, I never would have just pulled that out. You know,
Right,
that never
right,
would have
right,
come to the
right,
forefront had I not heard and seen those quotes from that
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
You know, and with this idea of escapism and it catching such a bad rap, if you look at it through another lens, isn't that meditation? You know, escaping, getting away
Sure.
from the
Oh,
buzz, the
true.
everyday. You know, so I just feel like Gen Z, we throw so much at these guys, you know, this younger generation. It's like, man, they're just doing what was thought to be something really good, just in a different way. You know what I mean? And if they get to there by video games or mindless apps, maybe it's not all bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's just a different medium to do it. And I don't understand it. And I even get that way, like, get your head out of your phone. You know what I mean?
Right,
But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is just a different form of meditation. I don't know.
No, I think that makes sense. And the guy, you know, that you were talking about that did the YouTube post or whatever.
Yeah, thinking it's not nostalgia.
Yeah. He talked a lot about video games. I think he's a gamer or whatever. I think a lot of people go down that road
Right.
for that kind of escapism. But I don't know. I guess to me, nostalgia in video games would be like I might be playing the original Nintendo or something like that.
Tecmo Bowl,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Maybe Mario or something.
Yeah, Mario Kart even, right? On Super Nintendo,
sure,
Mario
for
Kart.
sure. Yep.
But his gripe or his bitch was that you're not allowed to escape anymore. Like a lot of these apps and a lot of these modern day video games, which I have no concept of, and I've never really got into them. I'm not a gamer, streamer, any of that. But they don't allow you to escape because they don't. He quotes that they don't have any soul, and they're actually designed to keep you engaged, to keep you clicking, to keep your mind racing, and they're also woven with all these new woke ideologies and all this other stuff. And as soon as you see that, you catch it and you start to think about it. You know, it's by design.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of his gripe was. It's like this stuff is so corporate now that they don't just allow a director to make a movie. It's got to check all these boxes for engagement, to check all these ideology, the if you want to call it a woke agenda, whatever. But it doesn't allow you to what he would consider properly escape, like you used to be able to do. Like what you're talking about. You turn on the movie, it makes you feel good, relaxed, and then you can just pass out.
Yeah,
You can let go.
that's totally got to be. I mean, I've always said he'll like turn on a movie, and it might be he'll just fast forward like 30 minutes, and he likes the spot, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't ever care what we watch, but it just lets you check out or something. I don't know.
That should be
Zone
like
out.
that should be like the farm focused movie like grading system. Like how fast did it put Ben to sleep? Like if it's within 10 minutes, it's a 5-star. 20 minutes, 4-star.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
See, then that'd
exactly.
be the opposite. Like most
Okay.
people, but most people are like, "Oh, if it puts you to sleep, it must suck." But no, actually,
but
that
Not on
means
this
it's-
grading
yeah,
scale.
that means
Not
it's
on
good.
this one. If you can get his mind to stop spinning and thinking, we're winning.
And you got to wonder, like the guy talks about today's video games and today's movies and all these kinds of things. So the kids, like our kid who's 12, when he's 40, will today's things right now be stuff that's nostalgic for him?
So true. I don't know.
Like it's most likely. He'll think back on
Call of Duty, COD.
maybe, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I can't I just keep
What's that one? What's the one that all the kids play? Like the big one?
Minecraft.
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
No, in Minecraft.
Yeah, well, like if Fortnite comes up when he's 40 years old, will he be like, "Oh my God, I used."
Oh, the fox-headed lady.
He totally will probably.
That's the other thing about nostalgia. It's not about like just like I don't know, getting comfortable and going and getting tired or whatever. Like you can get excited about it. Like, oh man, I love that. That was so much fun. Like I'd love to do that right now.
You get lost in it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
But can nostalgia, I don't know. You guys keep talking about TV and games. I guess I just keep thinking about, I don't know. It's weird. It's like when the windows are open at home and it's like a fall, like it just seems like cool. It's the weekend. There's a game on, or like I smell like just something. It just reminds me of being younger, and I can't ever really put my finger on it.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing. It's like a comforting thing. Like you said, you can't really explain it, but I don't really think it has to do with what's on the TV. It's just like all these components.
Right.
I don't know. So that's not really nostalgia. That's just like a
Well, no, I think a lot of things can take you to that place, right? Or to a
Okay.
different place. For me, like a vivid one for me is the smell of freshly cut alfalfa. That takes
Okay.
me to high school.
Oh.
That takes me to my summer job. When I was in a windrower, 6 days a week, putting in 12 hours cutting hay every day.
Okay.
And just that smell, I love it.
Yeah.
And I can smell it from a mile away and know exactly what's going on.
So the dictionary.com definition is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal association.
okay. So yeah, I guess that would work then.
I mean, it'd be anything.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
anything that you can think of. I mean, out here where we're sitting right now, like I have nostalgic thoughts about when I was 12 years old. Sitting in the backyard or walking through the woods or playing with my dog or whatever the case may be, walking around with the BB gun and
Yeah.
thinking I was a cool guy. I mean, like that all plays in that.
That the smell that my bolt action 22 would make, the smoke that would come out the end of the barrel, man, that takes me back to a Christmas when I got my first 22.
Yeah.
And Dad took me out when we walked up and down the Ponca Creek. It was Christmas Day afternoon. He goes, "Hey, you want to go shoot? You want to go do a little hunt or whatever?"
Right.
And it just, that smell.
yeah,
Take me to
I
that,
think there's that smell that there's some kind of smell that's really associated with things for sure. So again, what was the guy saying that it was also called nostalgia is what?
Well, it's escapism.
Escapism. I
And-
think those two things kind of like they're the same.
Well, his gripe was that it's, yeah. I do think there's a lot of overlay.
Yes, like
But what his gripe was is these modern day video games, these modern day movies and books, they're also corporate. They don't allow
They're
you
not
to
letting
escape.
you to.
They keep
Yeah.
you plugged in. Like, well, okay, so Ben, with the new Ninja Turtles, there had to have been 2 or 3 things that I'm not going to say triggered you, but caught your attention. Like, oh, come on.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was a number of things.
You
Yeah.
know, like-
I mean,
like that weren't like the same as they used to.
I mean, the old Ninja Turtles was just a naive reporter that was just out for the scoop. April O'Neil. She just
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
get the scoop and do it right. And this new Ninja Turtle, she's got other things on her mind.
yeah.
You
oh,
know?
she wants to hook up.
No.
Oh.
No. No.
Okay.
The cards are stacked against her socially. She's in a minority.
Oh.
You know, all this stuff, and it's like, why are we making this
Yeah.
teenage girl take on all this crap?
Right.
Okay.
She doesn't have to change the world. She doesn't have.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so even for me, like why? Why do we got to go down that path?
Yeah, there was plenty of that. And admittedly, like Morgan says, you know, I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I watched like a third of it.
Oh, now he's telling us. Okay.
I didn't. I never said I watched
Well, I
the whole
just wondered
thing.
what you thought. Again, I was not in the room, so
But there was, and this was probably the case when we were kids too, and just didn't pick up on it. But I was surprised of the couple of different adult innuendos that were mixed in it.
Oh sure.
I don't remember exactly what they were off the top of my head, but I remember a couple of them and just being like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I thought this was a kids movie, but it,
what is it rated?
Well, I didn't like how they cussed so much. I really
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I thought they said damn and hell and a few other words. I'm like, man, you know, if I want Ozzy and Kimber to watch this,
Yeah.
you know, like,
yeah. Is it PG even, or was it PG-13?
I want to say it was 13.
it
maybe.
must have been.
It
13.
probably have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they called each other ass hats and things like that. You know,
Yeah.
I just noticed that. And I'm
So
like,
will
man.
you let the kids watch it or no?
Yeah, and just let them know. Don't say that.
Okay. I mean, we would
I
we
don't
would probably do the same thing, but
I mean, it. You know, the Ninja Turtles has been made 100 times, 100 different ways.
Right.
That one for me definitely didn't bring back any nostalgia. I mean, it was so different.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
not only in the way it was presented, but just in, like you said, like what they talked about and.
And I appreciated the take. I thought Seth Rogen was onto something. He goes, you know, like you said, it's been redone so many times, but no one's explored them actually being teenagers. So that was kind of cool that they took on that perspective that, hey, they are just 13, 14-year-olds trying to figure things out and then go to school.
Yeah.
My main gripe with it, if I can,
Yeah, go.
and that they did the same darn thing to Star Wars in a reboot on Disney. They made Bebop and Rocksteady good guys at the end. And
They're bad guys.
they're bad guys. They
And
are
that
bad
happened
guys.
in this movie? They
That
did
happened
that?
in this
Oh.
movie.
Oh.
And Bebop is my favorite character, my favorite villain. And how dare you
Turn good.
make him a good guy? It's
Yeah.
okay to have bad guys. You know, like Ben, your dad wouldn't even have a job growing up if it weren't for bad guys. If it weren't for people stealing stuff, we wouldn't need police. Like
That's so
It's
true.
a holistic thing. We need
Yeah.
bad guys. We need good guys. Why do we have to destroy that dichotomy and say like, no, Rocksteady, who wants to break my skull, is a good guy. Heart of
And
gold.
it's a freaking movie.
Get out
like,
of here.
come on.
Well, no, but it's disrupting this whole concept to me that everybody's good all the time. No, they're not. No, they're not. And if
Right.
you raise your kids in that type of thought process, you're really setting them up to put themselves in danger.
Yeah.
You know, to pick up strangers that they shouldn't be picking up. Whatever. Like I hate that. And I think it was a remake, some reboot. We were getting into them for Star Wars and liked them a lot. They made Sand People good. Sand People. Do you know who Sand People
Yeah,
are?
I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so yeah, you're not.
I'm bigger than most, but I'm not a purist, or I don't even
Yeah,
know what they call
yeah.
them. But the Sand People are the worst of the worst of the worst. They're
Okay.
the ones that basically turn Anakin Skywalker into Darth. They're the ones that
Okay.
pushed him over the edge, that made him that mad because they abducted, raped, and killed his mom.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Oh, and then a reboot.
Oh, and
let's
now
find
he's
the good.
good?
Let's find the good in these rapist murderers. Let's find the good here.
Oh,
Get
God.
out of here.
No, that's
leave
ridiculous.
me alone. You're destroying. Now you're saying Anakin had it all wrong. The
Right,
balance is
right.
all just a bunch of
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm not even a
Yeah.
big Star Wars guy, but God, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Don't take Sand People and tell me that I should invite them into my home and say, hey, have some dinner here. I mean, I know you guys are in that whole raping and pillaging and, murder thing, but come on in. Here
Yeah.
you go. Have a seat right there. Like, what are we doing? So
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
that was a little bit of a rant there over Bebop, but,
No, I hear you. And
I mean,
to the whole nostalgic thing, I mean, that's the kind of thing that you long for is like bad guys were bad guys.
yes.
And that was that.
I mean, yeah, I can't even set up a backyard game now where here's the good guys, here's the bad guys. Now
Right.
it's, okay, hold on, we're all good guys?
Right.
Who what? Well, you have positive traits too, Morgan.
oh
Yeah.
God.
Okay. So
Okay.
like, what are we even doing?
What's the how's that saying go? It's something like weak times make weak men or something like that.
Right. So hard times make strong men. Good times make weak men. And then it kind of goes full
good
circle.
Good times make weak men.
And then, and then weak men allow for bad times. And then, then you got bad times.
So basically, we've all got it so easy right now.
Yeah.
So easy.
Because, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's good times. Everything's easy. You can go to the grocery store. You can get everything you want.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about that. You got police out there protecting you. You know, you have all the things, everything you need.
I don't even have to go to fast food. Fast food now comes to me.
Exactly. Yeah, all of that. And it creates a bunch of weak men.
Pussies.
You know, they say yeah. They use the word
Yeah.
they use the word men, but it really means humans in general.
Right, because you can't just say men.
And so then we're all like, oh, hey, everybody's cool. Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're probably on the precipice where, okay, if you're going to invite Bebop and Rocksteady to the dinner table, you're setting it up for bad times.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's right there.
Yep.
That's a really weird analogy, but I think there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah, didn't know that was going to go there.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that maybe Ninja Turtles and Top Gun were going to be brought up together.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about
They're
that.
both a parallel to real life in one way or another.
Yeah.
And I guess that happens with a lot of media, you know, as far as like movies and stories and things like that go.
You know, even you didn't watch any of the Michael Bay movies, did you?
I mean, he's made a ton of movies.
No, the Ninja Turtle ones.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. There was two. Was there two of them?
I think there was two of them.
Yeah, we watched.
And just for fun, Ashley and I went on a double date with a couple that were our age that were kind of into that stuff too, you know, and just for fun, you know. And we went to Pizza Hut, the whole 9 yards. And I mean, total commercialized, right? Like, I'm never going to say, like, oh, I'm not going to be commercialized. No, like, I love that stuff. And then we started, like, breaking down, like, oh, man, they got this wrong, they got that wrong. You know, afterwards when we're having beer, I'm like, you know what? We're talking about turtles and mutagen that are being taught karate by a rat. Forget it. Forget it if the physics didn't quite work out on that one scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you also got to step back and take it for what it is.
Was that the ones that I like?
Could be. I'm not sure which ones you like.
I don't know. I like the more recent ones.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, those movies. I enjoyed those movies. I thought they were
Yeah,
fun.
I like them.
I didn't feel like they were, you know, real similar to the cartoon I grew up
No,
watching.
not
but
at all.
They were fun.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we were pissing and moaning about the scene where they were like sledding. I'm like, how are they sledding and they're catching up to a vehicle that's driving 100 miles an hour? I'm like,
Totally.
Hold on. What am I doing?
They're turtles, duh.
Exactly, they're turtles.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course they can do
Going
that.
down the snowy hill.
Yeah.
Dodging trees. And,
So I'm on board. I caught myself being a little too critical there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right. No, but I kind of like the nostalgia thing when you think about it. There are definitely some. I'm sure when people are listening can think of some moments, you know, obviously. But yeah, it is weird to think, though, our kids, like what they're going to think. And
Right.
you, like you said, you can't even pin it. I mean, you didn't know that conversation in fourth grade was going to like throw you back in there. It just
No.
you just never know what's going to kind of jog your memory.
No, and I think it's just a different forms of it. It might be a little bit harder to attain now since everything is so corporate.
Yeah.
You know, saw a real neat good interview with Adam Devine, guy from Millard.
I'm not sure.
Have you ever watched the series on Comedy Central, Workaholics?
No.
It's pretty funny. But anyway, the kind of the goofball of the group of these three guys that are just bums, right? He's from Omaha. And so he's always talking about Nebraska. He'd always work it into the series too. You know, it was kind of funny. But he was on a podcast or some radio show lately, and he broke down why you don't see very many comedy movies come out anymore. Like you used to see a bunch of them every year. And it's just not worth the risk to these production companies. Like they just want, and it's just sound.
Because they're going to offend somebody.
No, it's a sound business. It's nothing more than just a sound business move. If you do a Marvel comic book movie, you can guarantee yourself X amount of dollars coming back. If you do a comedy, that's a flyer. That's like, oh boy, this might work, probably won't. So why do we want to invest in it?
Okay.
So that's why we're seeing less and less of these things that people like your son and mine could be nostalgia about.
Unless you
Yeah.
have like Will Ferrell or Kevin Hart. Like you got to have like those funny people.
They need those guys, and they need, and more times than not, like a reboot.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
Top Gun 2, you know, something like that. So it is kind of sad to see some of these things go away, but you understand why. And
Yeah.
I just think maybe for the next generation, this Gen Z and on, nostalgia might hit them even harder since it's going to be such a limited pool from what I can see.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, when it comes to pop culture anyway, I mean, if you get out and do things, enjoy the outdoors, fishing, all that stuff, I think you're naturally going to get these experiences.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta put in your work on your end too.
Yeah.
You know, you
Right.
can't just have
Right.
all these fun memories and not work for them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily work for them, but you know what I mean? Get out,
Put
and
something
experience.
into it. Yeah.
You got to go get these experiences yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think about what you were, the video that you had brought up as far as YouTube goes? You think there's anything else to add from that in terms of this whole nostalgia thing and what the guy was talking about?
Well, I mean, I think he goes down quite the rabbit hole there, where he's pretty jaded, you know, and he's a gamer, and everything just kind of sucks now. And he's probably onto something, but it is what you make it, like everything. I feel he's maybe talking a little bit more sour grapes than anything. And why is he demanding others to, it's on them to create more, good stuff that he can have fond memories of. You get out and create.
Yeah, he could
Yeah.
too.
You
But
know?
yeah, maybe it's because of the whole gaming thing or whatever.
What I found interesting too is the next one of the next videos or things that came up was it was titled "Giving Up." Why does Gen Z so inclined to slowly give up? Why are they giving up? And they basically called it a hyper reality that they get lost into, and that's where, in just a couple hundred years, the human race went from one ideology, one church, and just a small community that you had to adhere to and be a part of. Now, in like a blink of an eye, you're getting hundreds of thousands of different ideologies coming at you. Where the big thing used to be, so-and-so's cows got out. That was the big thing. Now there's a war in Ukraine that I have to worry about. Like, what am I trying to do comprehending a war in Ukraine?
Right.
And also the neighbor's cows getting out.
Yeah.
It's too much, so we get lost in what they call hyper reality, and like our minds just aren't built to withstand that thing. So I guess it just kind of reminded me of, and that's why it came up next, escapism. Like we'll just get lost in hyper reality, and even though we know it's happening or we're attuned to it, we still allow it. Because it's better than dealing with what's in front of us or what could be out there.
Yeah, so that's almost like a fantasy world.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like nostalgia, like the one thing that I've seen over and over again, you get somebody like that dude, and I listened to that video. I think we're all guilty of it. Our parents are guilty of it. We talk about them like that, where it's like, the old times, that was the good times, and now we got this, and now we got that, and on and on and on. And yeah, we do, but it's not really that bad. It's just that it's not what it was when you were younger or whatever, and you liked it better when you were younger because that's what you went through.
Of course.
Yeah.
And now there's all this other stuff going on, and you just don't like the other stuff. I think the number one thing that humans battle with is change. And that stuff changes, and you're just like, I don't want it to change. It was cool the way it was.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But everything changes. And yeah, there's bad things. Yeah, there's good things. You got to take them both for what they are. You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And you got to realize what, kids like our son who's 12, your kids who are even younger in single digits, what they're experiencing today. And a lot of things that they're experiencing, they probably really like.
Of course.
And when they get older, they're going to be like, man, I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss those things.
Yeah.
Why can't everybody be a good guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to say that.
To tie that in to a sports analogy, coming out of the 60s, everybody was NFL football. It was all football, college football, NFL football. You couldn't get enough football if you were a man.
Yeah.
And then they started to see a big decline throughout the 70s and 80s as far as viewership, people buying sports magazines, all that stuff. So the NFL made some changes on defense that allowed the offense to basically score more points easily.
Oh, on purpose.
On purpose. You couldn't blow up a receiver. You couldn't hit a receiver after 10 yards, all these things. And, I mean, people still bitch and moan about these rules today. But it saved the NFL because as soon as more points and more touchdowns started happening, viewership skyrocketed. It gave birth to like fantasy football and all these other things, all these more touchdowns, more scoring, more offense. So the fact that we hate these changes to the way the game should be played, it saved the sport. And you don't hate it, you actually love it. You know what I mean?
I remember just recently they couldn't a while ago, they couldn't do some touchdown dance, or they couldn't, and then they brought it back, or maybe you still can't in college, but you can in NFL. Like, I know we don't like that whole gloating thing, but it is kind of funny. Like, they do stupid things in the end zone. Like, people want to see that.
Yeah.
And so it's entertainment.
Yep, that's a great point because, even owners are jumping on that. Yeah, they shouldn't be showboating in the end zone. Well, then a guy does it, and then his jersey skyrockets sales. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to do that dance again if you score next week.
And that's a whole other conversation. I mean, it depends on where your focus is. But, I mean, I think what I can relate it to in sports is things like the instant replay. Like, I hate the instant replay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nostalgic for a time when the referees and the umpires and the officials could make their call, and we had to deal with it.
And it could have been the wrong call, but we had to deal with it.
We just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
It set the pace of the game, and it was almost part of the competition.
Yeah.
Like what umpire are you going to have? What ref are you going to have? And what kind of calls are they going to make? And that's that.
Yeah.
You got what you got.
And
where now it's like that dude isn't even an authority anymore. The camera is. The box upstairs is. Like, that's just a person walking around out on the field that can say a bunch of things, but it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Because they can essentially get it turned over. So, but then, that's done a lot for the game. And it's helped in a lot of different ways, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you got to take the good with the bad. You know?
If it would just be more efficient and quicker, I think people would
agree. They take forever.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to make it faster and more efficient.
Do you think they do that on purpose to kill more time and make it more dramified?
I just think they're going through it. They're just trying to get it right and appease to all these different entities,
Oh, okay.
Those type of changes take time, and on top of it, we don't like change.
That's right.
So
back to your point.
I'm going to be critical of it.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Well, I don't know. I think that's about wraps it up.
I just found that little podcast or whatever it was interview interesting about nostalgia and how it's not really nostalgia; it's escapism.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of different things here.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's definitely part of it.
It was interesting.
What
do you have for us? Anything else?
To kind of close it out, folks get on the apps. Do the reviews. Same offers up there. If you do a review on Apple, on the Apple apps, send us a message, ben@farmfocused.com. We'll send you a t-shirt or a hat, Common Folk, for doing your review. Do the 5 stars, do the Spotify, all those kinds of things. Check out the websites, stockandrod.com. We got new gear out. We got
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
The pheasant design coming out.
I love that.
We're getting into the season. It's time for
There's
that.
a crew neck, too.
Get your wild game on.
That's right.
That's a good one.
And about once a week, we're releasing a previous episode on our YouTube channel, YouTube Music. And we're also releasing short videos from 2 to 5 minutes. If people want to give that a thumbs up or a thumbs down and leave a comment.
No thumbs down.
No thumbs down?
No.
Hey, whatever you want to do.
Can we just do like
whatever
a middle? Like, do they have a middle thumb?
It's up or down, I think.
Okay.
If it sucks, it sucks.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
it
that's
sucks,
true.
tell us how to get better. But if they leave a comment on that, would that be good for us?
For sure, 100%. Yeah, get on there. And check out YouTube. I mean, if you want to see what we got going on here
Wait,
in the
what is
studio.
that on YouTube? Tell me.
/Common Folk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I should check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I'm on camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Great.
All right, well, So what we got?
That's it.
Sounds good to me.
All right,
right.
let's close it out.
Peace.
Later.
See ya.